This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bills fans, welcome to 24/7 Buff Pandemonium presents the K-Gun Report Season 2, Episode 41. I'm Jarrod. You can find me on Twitter at Jarrod247BF.
Nice.
Joining me tonight, we have Swank.
Yo! You can find me on Twitter at Swank247BF. And you can also find me every Tuesday right here for the K-Gun Report and Sunday sessions with this guy over here, Scott, and the little masking tape guy, Mr. Ryan Thomas.
Who has been awesome lately in that session, so I think he's a permanent fixture now.
Oh, hell
Yep.
yeah.
Also joining us, Scott.
Hey! Would you guys believe that you could find me on Twitter as well at Scott247BF? And like Swank said before, hey, you'll see me on Sunday sessions talking to these crazy guys for a pregame show. And obviously Ryan Thomas from Ryan Thomas Sports Podcast. You can see him too. So yeah,
Thomas
good to be here.
Sports Podcast.
Thomas Takes Sports Podcast.
Guys, I have a question for you both.
Oh,
You guys
yeah.
ever seen Frosty the Snowman?
Yeah.
What am
When
I?
he comes to life, what's he say?
Happy birthday.
Whose happy birthday is it today?
Slick.
Oh, our little partner
Nice.
over there at Buffalo Autograph, Ryan Hickman. Happy birthday, friend.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
brother.
Ryan.
Who's
Now we
Ryan?
got to get him just to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Johns, Buffalo Spartan, Paul Kirkdorfer, Mike Vogt, Brent Thomason. We have the family here. The Fandemonium family is in the house.
Hell yeah.
Welcome. Guys, we're going to get you involved today. Josh Cook's here.
Yeah, boy.
Don't
were
be
just
afraid to
talking about
share. Yes. We'll have to get a hold of him.
Mhm.
Josh Cook, we're going to get a hold of you.
We gotta get a hold of you, buddy.
All right. Guys, awesome. Anyway, besides the awesome part, let's talk about a little bit about this past weekend's game against Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Nay, that was the right way to say it. Tampa Nay.
The Buccaneers pulled off 33-27 and nail biter at the end. Good, bad, ugly. Ugly. Scott, lead it.
Ooh, yeah, that was a good call. I want to hear what he's got to say.
I can kind of go off on a lot of things. I decided not to today because I know Swank's been pretty upset about a few things that happened during the game. Excited about a lot of things. Obviously, we have a lot to be excited about, guys. Currently, we still own the 7th seed in the playoff race. It'll be hard for the next week to advance up a little bit. That's because we don't have the AFC East yet. So we potentially could still have 7th, 6th, or 5th next week. And then obviously we'll be playing for the AFC East the week after that. Oh, man, the ugly. You all know what the ugly is. I'll start off right with the ugly. It was the first half. You guys thought I was going to go refs, didn't you?
Debbie Emerton agrees with you.
First half of football, 3 points. And I'll tell you what's ugly about that, okay? We saw all week. And you saw, as a fan, you could be a Tampa Bay fan and you noticed it, right? If you were to watch Josh Allen play football versus Tom Brady play football, you can clearly see who the MVP of the league should be, right? Just by the way the man took the team on his back and potentially could have won that game. All right, Brady had a 100-yard rusher in his back pocket. He had a lot of calls by the refs in his back pocket. Josh Allen did what he did without – he has help. People say he doesn't have help. He has help. He has good wide receivers. The ugly is that first half. The ugly is putting the ball in Josh's hands for the whole first half. The running backs did not touch the ball once as far as running the ball. And how many passes were there? Other than the design runs, a lot of passes. I'll tell you what this does, guys, to a football team, to Josh Allen. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible. It's not smart football. We want to say our offensive line is not good, but we're put in a situation where our offensive line doesn't stand a chance. Let's say it time and time again. When the defense knows that they can pin their ears back and go after the quarterback, that's their one job. They don't ever have to worry about screen plays. They don't ever have to worry about run plays. That's dangerous because now it becomes the defense is not the reactor, but the proactive player, right? Now the offensive linemen have to be the reactors because all these defensive ends and tackles are coming in, doing their swim moves, their rip moves, all that stuff, going after one thing, the quarterback, because you don't have to worry about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
The ugly was it's like I said, it's starting to become dangerous and irresponsible. You're paying this guy $258 million for 6 years. He's not going to be around that long. The running game, I want to make a point. Those 4 rushes for 52 yards, that is potentially what Singletary can provide for this offense if Dable comes up with strategic run plays. He's got to. And
what,
it's just
Scott? What kind of idea is that? That's a crazy idea, Scott.
No, some people, because I saw a lot of comments. There were 7 total run plays this week, and one of them was a fake punt. I saw the comments saying, Singletary, we wouldn't have this problem if our running back wasn't trash. The guy had 4 carries for 52 yards. And a lot of people are saying, well, that's because it wasn't during trash time. But some people are saying that it came during a time when the defense, right. It came during a time where the defense wasn't expecting a run. You want to know what, fans? You want to know what, Dable? When a defense isn't expecting a run is when you should run the ball. Do you guys believe that?
Weird.
Sounds like legit. Yeah.
Sounds legit.
I saw an interesting comment. Someone shared it on Twitter. I wish I knew who it was, but it was the San Diego Chargers head coach sharing the importance of a run game. You don't have to have 100-yard rushers, but you have to have the establishment of the physicality of a run game. So if you take the run game out of it for the defensive line and linebackers, you're taking out the contact that these guys need to make with the line to read the run. When you take that away, they all need to just go straight down the field to get that quarterback. If you have a little bit of a run game where you average more than 3 yards a carry, which the Bills average more than 4, which is a good run game. But when you have the run game, you're establishing physical contact between offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and the defense has to do more than just bull rush through. They have to engage a block, decide where to go, and then what else do they have to do in a run game? They have to make the tackle. In a passing game, you don't need to make the tackle. You just need to have pressure and get near the quarterback. So the physicality of the game changes dramatically when you don't have anybody running the ball. It becomes advantage off defense and disadvantage offense.
And I'd have to say that was the bad and the ugly because, like I said, I'll say it again. It's becoming, the more I'm watching, it's becoming dangerous for Josh Allen. And if you want this guy to be a franchise quarterback, you got to start establishing something else and having him take the ball on his shoulders for the whole first half and even the first 2 drives into the third quarter. It's just becoming dangerous, and that was the ugly. My good, that second half, that Josh Allen, that guy. If you don't know that this guy is all about winning and trying to do whatever he can to win, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy. The guy sprained his ankle and he still played the remainder of the game. Right? I mean, that was something else. And, like I said, the true MVP, you saw it that game.
You can't tell me that he didn't audible out of most of those plays like we were talking about on Sunday. I felt like he put the whole game on his shoulders from that touchdown run on. It was Josh Allen's show. Until where it felt like the game started over in overtime and then you go 3 and out.
Mm-hmm.
And those plays were not good. So then it's like, well, what happened? The game started over. I think Dable was like, we're running these 3 plays. These are our best shot of doing it. It's like, why not just keep that momentum going from what you had going on in the fourth quarter?
That's exactly what I think happened, Swank.
There wasn't that big of a break between overtime and the fourth quarter, so It's not like they had time to, oh man, we're getting cold, we got to warm back up again.
Mm-hmm.
It happens quick. So you got to keep that hammer down.
Yep. It's the truth.
Guys, we went 2 for 13 on third down conversion. That's sickening. Buccaneers, 8 of 16, but we can probably credit half of that to what, Jarrod?
Penalties.
Yes.
So
7 for 65 penalties and yards for Buffalo, 4 for 24 in Buccaneers. Buccaneers penalties came.
So I saw another Twitter. We're big on Twitter now. We love it over there on Twitter world. It's a tweet. Someone showed the average or what the penalty breakdowns through the season have been so far. And it's pretty even if you look at them, right? You're like, I think the Bills are in the middle of the road and the Patriots, got to throw them in there in Tampa Bay because of the 2 teams I was looking at in the middle of the road. What comes into factor that people don't really see when they just look at numbers are when these penalties are being called.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay didn't get called a penalty until the second half, right? What happens when you have a clean game? Usually you're scoring, right? Your team's doing well. As they were up 24-3, there's no penalty. Now that we have a lead, let's throw some penalties in there. So at the end of the year, when people are looking at penalties throughout teams, it's even and it doesn't look like it's one way. Mm-hmm. And that's been going on for years with those 2 teams I just mentioned. Let's get them the nice lead. Let's make them have a clean game. Let's not call anything. And then when they have the game in control, we'll do a 5-yard penalty here, an offsides, a holding. They have the momentum. They have the lead. What will it hurt? And it's just all for people to see that it might be even, but it's when those penalties are called. On those drives that Tampa Bay had when they scored, 3 of those drives were 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and 3rd and 7. A pass that ended up with a pass interference, and a defensive holding penalty.
Yep.
So those plays, those penalties that the Bills had were key in keeping those drives going that happened to benefit Brady, and that's where the scores led to. So it's all about when they're being called, and that's the big momentum turner.
I got at you guys earlier today, and we were talking about this because I also think my boy Brent Thomason over here has a similar idea, but he said, I'm not usually one to blame flags, but gosh damn. And usually, I mean, you can sit there and finger point at the Mafia for being like the excuse makers of the whole league, saying, oh, the refs are against us, all Tom Brady, all the Patriots, all blah, blah, blah. This is one that's justified, man. Like, it's absolutely justified. You have Tony Romo, who's probably one, if not the most respected color analyst, calling games, saying that he couldn't believe that Stephon Diggs got held that bad and there wasn't a penalty. I mean, he literally said what we say every game, what everyone says. If you know a little bit about how the game's played and what a penalty looks like, if you have a chunk of jersey in somebody's hand and it's making that triangle from their back to your hand, that is always going to get called 9 times out of 10. And Scott made a nice little graphic that he shared. there's 3 blatant times, and that one at the end of the game, like, are you going to call pass interference or are you going to let them play? You know, so you called it on us when it was the Bucs, and it had a huge implication for how that game went, but you didn't call it when we were marching down the field. So I just don't understand. I think Stefan got held every single time he was on the field, like at least once or twice during that every series that he was out there, and it's ridiculous.
That's the thing, though. You brought it up, Swank. It's the consistency of it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna call it nitty picking for one side, do it for both, so we're not having this. Oh, they called a tight game, right? That's what that would have been called.
Yeah.
If they're gonna be tagging each other and pulling each other down all game, they played a loose game.
Yeah.
Consistently throughout the whole game. It's not consistent.
Listen,
and it's noticeable.
I think, like, people say, oh, that's part of the game. I don't care. I don't care what the speed of the game is, to be honest. There's no point in the time, and maybe I'm wrong, and you guys can blow me up in the comments. I'm never watching a Bills game and being like, wow, this game's just taking too long. You know? Like what if you would have said that the other day, like on Sunday? You know, at halftime, we were all, Jesus, this game's over. And look at what happened in that second half. Tie it up into overtime. Like, I've never said, oh man, the flow of this, it's just so slow. I wish we'd get on with the next game already. Like, never. So I know for TV purposes and all that stuff, you don't want to slow the game down. I'd rather they called everything. Like, I wish they called everything, because you know what? Maybe people wouldn't hold or interfere as bad. Like, if you draw the line in the sand and say, we're going to call you. I don't care if it slows down the game or not. We're going to call you. You're cheating. You know, it's cheating. You're grabbing somebody's jersey. It's cheating. Like, I don't know. Look at, it's the same thing like with that Rams game last year, right? When there was the PI call and put us on the goal line and we won the game. And that was like, oh, how could you call that? Like, what do you mean?
Oh, they were making up for that phantom interception that wasn't earlier in the half.
And you know what? You wouldn't have to make up for calls, like bad calls, if you just made good calls, you know. Right. Or if it was iffy and you went to the booth, like, what fan is really going to be mad that an incompletion is called after a completion was called on the field? You know what I mean? Like, if Stephon Diggs didn't really catch a ball and they ran up to the line and snapped a play, which, by the way, is another sidebar, that'll never happen, because I don't know what the hell with the urgency and Dable, and they don't drill these kind of things into their head, but whatever. If it was replayed on this big screen and he didn't catch it and it got reversed, everybody would be like, we almost got away with one. Right. That's literally as serious as it gets. So who cares? Like, shoot it up there. Like, it's an embarrassment if you don't call it. You know, that has more to do with changing the tide of a game than not throwing a flag and slowing the game down. You know, I don't know. It just blows my mind. Pay refs, train refs, hold them accountable. I want to hear more about refs getting fired or suspended. You hear about players getting suspended all the time. I want to hear about refs getting suspended or held accountable for what they're doing or not doing.
Yeah, put color canceling eyeglasses on them, blindfold them, fly them out to a game, put them on the field so they can't tell which color they're rooting for or where they're at.
Yeah, I don't want them to use their eyes. Doesn't seem like they are anyway.
I want to make 2 points real quick, guys. You know, when stuff happens like this, I like to look into the facts and the stats a little bit. And I did notice, you know, I will give the refs this when it comes to Tampa Bay defense, their defensive backs, because Tom Brady has such a potent offense. They're scoring a lot of points. So there's a lot of passing that's going on to try to catch up. Tampa Bay does own about they're actually in top 5 in pass interference calls and defensive holding calls, right? So what happened this game? There was none called on them. A team that's consistently doing it at least 4 or 5 times a game gets none called on them this week at all.
Right.
I saw another stat saying out there, and this is going against Buffalo, with the over 500 passing attempts that Josh Allen has done. I think somebody tweeted this, and I actually looked it up, and I couldn't find the information, said it wasn't true. They've only had like 2 or 3 pass interference calls against them. Yeah.
That's a low percentage.
Yeah,
How many pass attempts does Allen have? Is he up to 500?
something like that.
Right. So then you'd have to look to see what defensive pass interference against would be.
It's
So I saw that stat too, and I knew you were gonna try to look for it, but you couldn't find it. But if you're just looking and if you've seen these last 13 games, can you remember the last time the Buffalo Bills have had a defensive pass interference called on our receivers though?
I can't imagine with your number one wide receiver being the best route runner in the NFL, your slot receiver being the best slot receiver in the NFL, how over 500 pass attempts, you only have 3 pass interference calls against you or defensive holding. How is that not happening? That's just they're ignoring
these defenses are just playing super clean games.
Look at the Tampa Bay game.
Yeah.
Not against these guys. Our wide receivers are too good.
I know. Real quick, Brent Thomason, great point. If you call a penalty in the first half, it's a damn penalty in the second half. I 100% agree with that.
Yep.
There's no room for discussion. Like, if it's wrong, it's wrong. I believe in that very, very much.
Mike Vogt, we're extremely lucky to be still at number 7.
Yeah.
So we threw a post out there who you should be rooting for. I know a lot of people don't really like to see that, but when it comes down to it, the reality of the game is sometimes you have to rely on scenarios to get into the playoffs. And I'm kind of glad we put it out there this week because the teams that we needed to lose lost, and we lost. That's why we're still number 7. So we're going to keep putting that out for people to see what the scenarios are, who we should be rooting for. So at least we know if we lose again, who we should be rooting for so we could stay in that seed.
Would you believe there's people out there saying that we don't deserve to be in the playoffs if we don't win the games ourselves?
Yeah, I do. But we're not going to dwell on that.
Real quick, I've seen a lot more, and again, this is a testament to the page and the people, right, saying that they appreciate it, because it's all it factors in whether you like it or not. Like, yeah, we'd all like the Bills to go undefeated. But the people that are saying, like, I don't want the Bills to make a playoff, like the playoffs this year, shut up, dude.
Yeah,
like,
go root for a different team for real.
8-8. Talk to Eli Manning. 8-8. Like,
I just want to throw out there quick. Buffalo Spartan, heal up quick. He just had surgery. I know he just said he's pretty sore. Heal up quickly, but he said need to move Edmonds to outside linebacker. He isn't the middle linebacker. Can't shoot the blocker. Got to pursue the runner. What do you guys think of that issue that's been going on with Jermaine Edmonds? Should we put?
I'm frustrated with him personally, just because of the inconsistencies. He's 23 years old. He signed a 5th year, his 5th year option. The question is, next year, did the Bills reconstruct a contract for him? A franchise tag him. I don't see him cutting him. I really don't. And he's young still. He's young, but I don't think he's figured out the pursue part of it. Swank, Jarrod, we've seen him put a helmet on King Henry, one of the baddest running backs there are in the NFL. Yeah. He's popped him one. So why he's hesitant sometimes to put a helmet on someone, I'm not sure. Why he drops down to his knees every once in a while to make a tackle, I'm not sure what's happening there. For me, it's frustrating because yet again, that Fournette play was a play where he had the wrong pursue. And I don't know. And unfortunately for him, I don't know why Frazier had this defense, man-to-man defense at the end of the game, where their fastest wide receiver in Perriman was being covered by our middle linebacker, and that's, Brady found the wide open guy. But, Edmonds is frustrating a lot of people. But he's young. He's young.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit throughout the week, and actually Mark Maddox shed a lot of light on this.
Yep.
And if you've seen Mark, or if you know Mark, if you've heard him on our show, he doesn't pull any punches, man. He's a true Bills believer, but if somebody's not pulling their weight, he's going to let you know. And I highly suggest you go back and watch that episode, listen to that episode where he was talking about Jermaine Edmonds, because him and Scott brought up a whole lot of great points about his development and where he's at and how he's seen the field and his pursuit. I personally don't think that there's anybody else on the depth chart that is going to do any better or even come close. I know Klein's came up a little bit. He's still not playing a lot. You got Dodson. He did an okay job. They've been going to those 3 linebacker sets a lot lately, I guess, maybe to help stop the run and all that stuff. I still think that he's your best shot when he's out there, but I agree. I think he needs to be molded into prioritizing angles, pursuit that kind of thing, sticking to the gap. One thing I would ask you guys is, do you think that the injuries from last year are giving him that moment of hesitation on whether he should be going full bore or not?
Well, Scott just mentioned that he did put the hammer down on Henry. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that Fournette play where I think it was overtime. It was 3rd and 1. And no, 2nd and 1. They gave it to Fournette and he got the first down.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Did he?
You saw Edmonds fill the gap perfectly. And then he dipped one side instead of getting square up on him and hitting him. He kind of leaned to his side and got pinned over. So I don't know if it's the fact that he doesn't want to hit. We've seen him hit, so it's a weird scenario, I guess. Weird question to ask because we've seen him hit before.
Yeah.
But it's just like, is there something that's throwing him off just enough where it's the angles? And that might be.
It could be just getting torched. You know, they've gotten torched by 3. Well, I wouldn't even consider Fournette an elite rusher. You know, but like between Taylor and Henry, and you can start to tally these like big play runs, right? I mean, the Patriots had a couple. Like, that's the difference between at least one scorer in each of those games, like one TD in each of those games. And if you watch that the Fournette run, it's the same exact coverage that they had on that huge Patriots run. You know? Harris did the same exact cut, the same exact motion. It was like watching a replay of it. They just fell to the left, and then they caught, you know, the whole defense folded left. And I don't know.
Well, the frustrating part is we know Edmonds can run sideline to sideline. Why he's trying to get to that sideline as fast as he can is, I don't know. These zone runs that they head out to the outside, make it seem like it's going to be an outside run. And those running backs are smart enough to cut it up when they see that middle linebacker over pursuit to that back lane. And again, it's happened. It's happened. As far as Tremaine Edmonds and his injury, like Jarrod said, he put the helmet on Henry.
Yeah.
And other than 4 holding things that happened during that run, they held Henry down to 3.3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Same thing with Leonard Fournette. 1 big run. The rest of his carries, 3.4 yards.
Historically, they've done well against Henry too. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from a huge break here and there, but like, I don't know.
Kelly Huntsman's here. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, what's up, Kelly?
What's up, Kelly Huntsman?
Let's if you guys don't mind.
Nope.
Unless Jarrod, you had something else going on.
As long as you got your good, bad, and ugly out, Swank.
Well, I was thinking we haven't talked a lot about the good, so
Right.
And I thought that Mike Voigt had a good. Dane Jackson played pretty well against the Bucs defense. I thought Dan showed out. I thought he did a good job. I think he got boned on one of those PI calls or holding calls.
Yeah.
But I thought for the most part he did a great job.
He did.
So
I'll second that.
And going against probably the best quarterback in the history of the NFL and whatever.
One of the toughest tandems in Godwin and Evans too.
Yeah.
With a Gronkowski at tight end.
Yeah, Gronkowski's no pushover.
Yep. Also, I thought Milano had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Doing what he did. It's a heartbreaker, man. You know, it was so close when they crawled back and did that, and then it's a bummer. So, you guys go ahead and do your goods or whatever you need to do, and let's move the hell on.
All right, so good second half, bad first half, and the ugly was the officials. I also want to say some good was, if I could choose a commentator to listen to, I know a lot of people make fun of Tony Romo, but man, he was spot on. He's honest, and I really enjoyed listening to him put these refs in their place and explain it to everybody. And I think he said, "Oh, they're nitpicking 5 times during this game when it was a penalty against the Buffalo Bills." Another thing I really enjoyed watching was they showed a sideline view of when they started to shut down Brady. Frazier, McDermott, and there was another coach there. We're talking, trying to figure this out. And once they showed that, Brady got shut down for a little bit. And I want to also throw out one more thing, the good. Last week I said along the lines that I feel like this game was going to be the game where the Buffalo Bills start to click and the run will start. It has. It didn't happen in the first half. It happened in the second half. I'm optimistic that that's going to be the spark, and that's when the Bills You ever seen Turning Point? Remember, like you see it on ESPN, the turning point of the game. Last year it was Taron Johnson's pick 6 against the Ravens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that when we're lifting that trophy at the end of the year, the turning point is going to be the second half of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game in Week 14. Get it, Buffalo.
Yep, I'll take
Got a
that
lot
too.
of believers behind you.
I mean, guys, look what they did. There's a lot of good to take from this game. Look what they did against the returning. They returned all their starters from last year. The defending Super Bowl champions and Tom Brady. Look what they did in the second half. That wasn't Tom Brady and Arians and all them taking a step back and kind of playing safe. You know Brady. He's trying to score as many points as he can. And the fact that the Bills defense was able to show up in that second half, and the fact that Josh Allen took it. I don't know if Dable stopped calling plays and Allen took over, whatever it was, but whatever happened, and that spark is, if Jarrod, you're right. If that's something that we're going to see for the rest of the season, good luck to the rest of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Because we scored all those points and looked that confident and was that pristine in our plays against the Super Bowl champions. A tough defense and a wonderful offense. Yeah, so.
One more thing before we move on. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers scoring drives were aided by penalties on big third downs. The Bills' second half touchdowns and field goals, all their drives were clean without any assistance of any flags. So,
yeah, I love that stuff.
Go Bills. All right. Also, before we move on to the Carolina game next week, Sunday, 1 o'clock, we finally get another home game. We're going to do a couple of these. We have these.
Man, you messing up.
Hey, check these out.
I want to show you this really quick because Swank brought up a good idea. I think I'm going to put this on a helmet.
Hell yeah.
Have that blue white face mask.
That'd be nice. That'd be real nice.
When the weather gets nicer and I can paint them up, we're going to do that. Also, Swank, what shirt you got on? It looks beautiful.
I got the original 24/7 BF shirt.
There you go. I got the new one.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
If you're interested in those, personal message 24/7 Buff Pandemonium.
Do we have any
Scott,
of the originals
Swank,
left?
or I?
We have a couple
handful.
originals left. Yeah, we got a lot of the red ones, and then we have a lot of the 24 Notorious Diggs ones that Swank created. Those ones are $25. Of course, $5 goes to the American Heart Association.
Yep. There you go. There you go.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Hey guys, before we get started, I just want to throw this out. Potentially, our salary cap for next year is going to be $208.3 million, which is going to be about $25 million more than it was this past year. So we want to think about starting to save cap space for our quarterback and all that stuff. The money's going in the right direction. Things are looking pretty.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Dennis Alexander wants us to make hoodies. It is that time of year.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, right?
I want to do that for sure. We'll have to figure out.
Good idea.
We'll have to figure out which design you guys are into, or some new stuff, because we got that Zubas one.
Yeah. I got a feeling people are going to love that. All right, guys. Buffalo Bills are hosting the Carolina Panthers. Swank, I'm going to let you lead the way.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts about this game coming up Sunday at 1 o'clock?
I don't want to jinx it, but I think this is a get-right game. I think the end of the Tampa game was where they started to figure it out, and I think this is a game where you can go in and you can solidify it. An average team against a quarterback that you faced twice last year that didn't really do a whole lot against you. I don't really have a whole lot of worries. I probably, and this might shock some of you that are doing this live stream with me, but I probably would be more worried if Sam Darnold was in at QB right now.
Agreed.
Not a lot, but probably.
I have that written
more.
down.
Do you really? Oh,
No,
okay. Weird. Nice note. There's a note-taking thing, Spartan. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think another good from the previous game that was kind of like an honorable mention. I thought Harry had a great game. He was in a lot of plays. When they were stopping the run, he was right there. And it's nice to see him doing well. So maybe with Starr out, if Starr continues to be out, Harrison Phillips might get his time to shine. And
He got high grades this week, Swank.
Did he?
Everywhere you look, he got high grades.
Good,
Yep.
man. I love it. I mean, I've always pulled for him, and I think that he kind of started taking a back seat when they signed all these linemen to the point where people didn't know if he was going to make the roster this year or not. Now, I might have been one of them, actually. You can go back and check my receipts. But I've always liked Harry, and I hope he does well. Again, nominated for Man of the Year again, right?
Good for him.
Walter Payton. Yep.
So I think that this is going to be one of those games that sets everything right. I think the Bills will do their part. And do you want me to do the whole shebang here? Score bold X, or are we just talking?
Man, we might as well. If you're talking about this game, you might as well throw out your score prediction, your bold prediction, and your X factor of the game for sure.
My and help us out in the comments with yours for sure.
Absolutely.
My score prediction is going to be 35-17 Bills. My bold prediction is that your score? Or are you just laughing at my score?
Pretty damn close.
I like your score.
Oh, really? My bold prediction is that we play a balanced game. I think we have a 100-yard receiver and a 100-yard rusher this year. Well, maybe that's more accurate.
Well, we did have a 300-yard passer and a 100-yard rusher last game.
Yeah,
Same guy.
Yeah, right. I think we'll have a receiver with 100 yards, and we'll have a back with 100 yards. And the X factor for me this week is going to be on the offensive side of the ball, and it's going to be Mr. Dawson Knox. I think that he came a long way this last week here into righting some of those crazy windy wrongs that he had a couple weeks ago, and he settled back into his future. He settled back into his future. Does that make sense?
That one long catch he had was beautiful. I thought he was going to take it in.
I thought the end zone catch was awesome too.
Yeah, he's good.
He is great. He's going to be elite, I think.
Yeah, he will be.
So, he's my X factor. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Scott, what's your thoughts, man?
My thoughts is right with you, Swank. I think this is and to go back to Jarrod's point about the second half of the Tampa Bay game, I do think that the Bills are going to come out hot. I do think that with the sprain of Josh Allen's ankle, he didn't come out for that game against Tampa Bay. He knows the playoffs are on the line. That man is not going to miss this game.
He's not missing this game. Absolutely.
He's not missing this game. So I think the spark that Josh Allen provided this past week is going to be contagious. My score is going to be 35-14. And I think it's going to be a good, complete ass kicking. There really is nothing to worry about. The Panthers do have the second-ranked defense in the league. They have a pretty good defensive backfield. Obviously, Stephon Gilmore's back there. We all know he's allowed to get him up. You might see a couple of those jersey stretches this week and not get called, only because he's allowed to get away with so much. But that defense is a tough defense. They do bring the blitz quite often. They do get home quite often. But I think if it's a smarter game plan on Dable's part of it, we won't have to worry about that rush. I think our offense can handle this defense for sure. I think our defense can definitely handle Cam Newton. I always make fun of his throwing motion, a little shot put throw motion. I saw it in the comments, and I also agree with it. I think he will be out by the half.
Brent Thomason said that. I was just going to read that for you.
Yep, they do have some dangerous wide receivers. DJ Moore right now with a hamstring injury. We don't know if he's going to play. And that Robbie Anderson, speedster from the Jets a couple years ago.
I like Robbie.
He's also a deep threat. So if Cam can actually loosen up his arm a little bit, that may be an issue, but who knows? This defense, this line is something that we can handle pretty soundly. And obviously, McCaffrey's not playing. He's out for the season on IR for the second time. He's out. So I like our chances. I do like our chances, and it's going to set it up perfect. It's going to be perfect setup for a rematch against the Patriots the next week. I'm not jumping ahead. I'm just saying what it's setting up for. My bold prediction is Diggs and Beasley will each have 10-plus catches, right now they're both on pace for 100 catches again,
right? Yep.
Which is pretty amazing. And my X factor, I wrote down attitude. We've been smacked around for the last 2 weeks, right? Not only against the Patriots in Tampa Bay, but I'll go media. We've been smacked around in media. No one respects us at all. it's Bills versus everybody, as they say, and it really is. Look what happened this past week with the referee calls and all that stuff. It's all about attitude. We've only beat 2 teams right now that are in the playoff race, that are in the playoffs. We beat the Chiefs, right? We're not showing a lot. Josh Allen gave it his all, and if the Bills don't start feeding off his momentum and his spark, then we're going to have issues. So the Bills need to come into this game with attitude, and they just need to smack them in the mouth because they're a team that you could do that to, and they just need to go take this momentum and keep riding it.
Debbie Emerton, just win. Leave your guts and blood on the turf. I think we'll see more urgency in the first half than we've been seeing, which is a great point, Scott. Your take there, Debbie's take with the urgency, and I'm just going to throw my X factor out there too. It's the team effort. Can this team continue with everything that they ended the Tampa Bay game with? Can they continue that urgency, the energy that they left that game with? And that's going to be the X factor. The urgency. Did you see those players flying around that second half? There was the urgency. There was the excitement. I remember Singletary getting up and picking people up, running down, picking people up there, getting hit out of bounds. Another thing that you saw, that offensive line, when we established the run a little bit, shut down the rush. So I think got to pull everything together. That second half, that's the click. Go. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Go. And for those of you guys that knock Singletary running back situation and our offensive line situation, I'll go back to last game. Pay attention to what happens when we call a run play when it's not expected.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to what our offense looks like when both passing and running is effective. It's a lot harder to predict what your offense is going to do, and the defense has to react a lot more than be proactive. It's a totally different ballgame. We have a line and we have a running back that just needs to put it together.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty unfair to say that we don't have a running game. I think it's unfair to Devin Singletary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I also think it's unfair to Zach Moss. I don't think he's developed quite as much as he could. People remember or don't remember, he was like one of the highest touted running backs in that draft class. You know, like there was 5 guys and he was one of them. And Taylor was in that conversation, and there's it seems like a disservice. And I'm less quick to blame the line as a whole anymore, and I really think it's play design. I think play design and execution. I know the line if the line was just a dominant run line, then fine. Like they should be able to perform, right? But I think play design, play call is horrendous. And Scott and Ryan and I talked about this after the show on Sunday. And I don't know how much Scott wants to agree or disagree, but Dable could literally get fired at halftime coming up at the Panthers game, and I would not care.
Paul Rossi, could this be Dayball's last game?
Yeah, I saw he wrote that earlier too.
That's a good point. I mean,
I don't think so, but
it might not be, but some fans wouldn't mind if it was.
I think that he is stalling this offense's growth, and I think he's stalling Josh Allen, the possibilities with Josh Allen and these wide receivers. Look at Gabe
Davis. Yeah.
Gabe Davis this last week played incredible, and
when he gets the ball, he takes full advantage of it.
Yeah. He caught that
and that
ball.
Offense.
First down, yeah.
No, he caught that one ball, sorry. And I turned to Sarah and I said, he's going to be a superstar in this league.
Yeah.
Like 100% a superstar. Like nobody wants to think about when Diggs leaves. I don't want him to leave ever.
Right.
But
you're comfortable.
Gabe Davis is 100% going to be a stud in this league.
Yeah.
And I think it's his time to be number 2. It's about time. Watch, the offense is so much more effective when he's out there at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
We saw pieces of it last year when John Brown kept getting injured.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis is a real thing. The guy catches everything. He's a good route runner, and he's got one of the best teaching him everything. It's Gabe. He needs to come in. It needs to be one of those 4 weeks left in the season, a new guy in there that's going to make that offense better, that's going to confuse the rest of the defenses in the league. I think it's time.
Really quick, Joey Hatch says they were saying people in the NFL want Sean McDermott and Duball, Dable gone. It should be fired after week 14. How do you guys feel about that? I think it's crazy if anybody's calling for McDermott's job. That's absolutely insane, and he has earned. And you can extend him like right now again, and I don't care. Like extend him until like 2047. It doesn't matter to me, man. I want this guy here forever. Dable, I think that his price tag is like gone from like high end to clearance to donation. Like
he's right here.
Dude is like, they're talking about. Oh man, I don't want to. I'm not gonna jack this.
Positive
take.
vibe going.
No, I'm trying not to jack this take because one of you guys said this or Ryan said it, but they were talking about how Leslie Frazier is like in talks about being that. That was you?
No, Ryan. I think Ryan was, but he's the
Okay.
top notch guy now.
Yeah. Leslie Frazier is in line for the Bears job, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And nobody's talking about Brian Dable.
Right.
And I think the rest of the league is seeing what he's doing with this MVP runner-up, elite, crazy offense with all these weapons, and it's just,
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take on that.
Well, my take.
Yes.
You think McDermott should be fired?
Never.
Wade Phillips, Mike Malarkey, Dick Duran, Doug Marrone, Rex Ryan.
I think that's a great argument. I think
I don't
won.
have to say much more
That's
than
the
that.
minute clip that you put on Twitter, Jared.
That will.
That's
I
the
will.
one.
Oh man, that's perfect. Absolutely.
You do the same
First-
thing if somebody starts talking shit about Josh Allen. Alex Van
Yeah.
Pelt, J.P. Lossman, Trent Edwards.
Dennis Alexander, 29-12 Buffalo. Bold prediction, 49-10. Debbie Emerton, 31-13. John Johns, the spark is going to turn into a raging fire and the Bills will destroy the Panthers. Bills 35-10. Dave Jackson will shut down the Panthers receivers. Man, that was like you said earlier, Swank, that game that Jackson had was definitely a confidence booster.
Yeah.
Debbie Emerton, bold prediction. I agree.
wonderful
Knox
game.
is going to have a great day. 3 TDs. He's my tight end in fantasy football.
Saw
Go
that one,
Knox.
dude. She is the queen of homer picks, and I love them because it's like they're so far out there, but sometimes she gets close, and I'm always rooting for her to be right. Like every time I'm rooting for her, like 50 points, 50-0. I love it.
47. Yeah.
Josh Cook, 23. Taberski throws a TD to Knox. X Factor Moss stays on the pine. Oh, Josh. There you go. There's some. That's a big topic that I want to jump on really quick. Is let me throw that out there quick. My score prediction is 42-0. Buffalo Bills are gonna just roll and stomp. But that brings to my bold prediction is
You got a Debbie pick.
Yep. My bold prediction is it's more of a 6-year, $258 million guy. Does Allen play this week? And I know you guys already said that he's going to be out there. But whenever these injuries happen, and I know it's a sprained foot, and obviously you're going to wait to see what the medical staff and the coaching staff and ultimately what Allen's going to think about this game. But whenever injuries like this happen and the coaches are quick to put out their stud receiver or quarterback, there's one individual that always pops in my mind, and it's RG3. He was a great quarterback. He was running the league. He got injured. They didn't take him out, and that was done. He was done. He's a great
That
player.
was horrible coaching.
Yeah. So I don't want that to happen. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it will. I think everyone will take the right steps to get Allen to where it needs to be. But if Trubisky is the one coming
Say
in,
that
do you guys
shit
feel
like you're from
comfortable?
Milwaukee, dude.
Do you guys feel comfortable with him playing?
With him playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel comfortable, but I don't want it. You
Right.
know? I guess if Sean thought it was important enough, then fine. That's why we have him. That's why we didn't trade him like everybody was kind of pining for. But there's no way. There's just no way. How the hell do you keep that kid off the field?
Right.
He does not care. He'll sit in the pocket the whole time and throw bombs. And maybe that's the best thing for him right now, to be honest.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, he can work on his long game.
Yeah. I don't. I don't see
So do you
it.
think they'll pull him quicker if there's a nice lead? Instead of
so.
letting them play the fourth quarter, you think they're
Maybe.
pulling them quicker if that's the case then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this will force them to lean on the run game a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe this will force Dable to actually have a good game plan.
Like,
Jarrod,
okay.
you're the massage therapist here, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know RG3, big concern, but his was a knee, and his was
it's higher up. Yep.
his was tearish, right? I mean, he had a brace on it to support a partial tear, something like that, if I remember correctly. So that knee was weak to begin with. As far as a sprain goes, does tape do the magic? If you tape it up good enough and strap it up good enough, is that enough support for a sprain? That's not a partial tear.
You've seen the tape jobs that these quarterbacks can have. I mean, look at what the hardware that Marino and Kelly and Elway and all those guys used to wear for knees and ankles. Thurman Thomas, I think, played his whole career with a strained MCL, ACL. That's why he always had the brace on there. So a good tape job, PTs, the OTs, everything that's there that can work on them, they could get it. It depends on the grade, I think, right?
Right.
You don't want to put them out there where it can injure it. If it's something that if it was like something that the staff would say, you could play on it, it's going to eventually tear, but you can play on it regardless, depending on what the length, the degree of the tear is. But if it's a strain or a sprain, that's just little microfiber tears within the muscle, and you can probably get a cortisone shot in there and make it through the whole game and just strap it up and be fine. But the thing is that I'm worried about is longevity.
Yeah.
You don't want to have him not feel his ankle if something really happens.
Right.
So,
I think it's play call. I think Allen's going to be someone that's not going to take it and say, yeah, okay, I'll sit this week. I think it's play call. And if Dable can get away with having a good offensive play call, score some points, and play a safe game, not having Josh do the first 40 plays by himself, I think you're good. I think Allen will be good. But the running, the design run plays and all that stuff, again, that'll be irresponsible and not safe for Josh Allen. And yes, I do believe Dable should be fired at halftime if he were to do such a thing.
And I would not put it past him. The dude, it's just so lame and I don't know, it's like predictably unpredictable, right? Like you're like to the point where you're like, there's no way he's gonna do that same play again. Oh, he did. There's no way. Oh, he did. Like I was going absolutely nuts with all those little going back to the short screens again this past week, and like doing all that crap in the beginning and then designed runs with Josh Allen and all this stuff even after he was hurt. And it's I don't know. That is absolutely irresponsible to me, and you have a lot of players on that team. The best play call of the whole game, I don't know, we're bouncing back to this thing. There was a fake screen. They faked the jet sweep, faked the screen, and then threw it, I think, to Gabe, who was like the screen receiver was here. Gabe was just like 5 yards like north of him. And it was beautiful. Like everybody went to where whoever was out there I think it was Isaiah, somebody, to catch the screen, and he just dipped it over their head. That is the first brilliant thing I've seen. If that was Brian Dable,
Was it even him?
I'd have to assume it was him, I guess, because it was such a complicated play call. But like, how do you get stuff like that where you're like, oh my god, like that's something that like you'd see Brady pull off, man. Like seriously, it was a beautiful play. But then it's like back to garbage town, man. Like,
yep.
Why not do that kind of stuff all the time? Why would you want to keep a defense on their toes? I don't know.
Right. Why would you want to do that?
Why would you want to do that?
I just thought of a good point really quick too. Also, we can't always rely on Allen to protect himself. So if I think Feliciano might be able to play this week, that might be a good thing. Right. He played special teams a little bit, right? Was he playing on the line during the game?
I think he had a couple snaps. Somebody would have to check me.
So I know these players love Allen.
Yeah.
Right. These players love Allen, right? So coach says to this offensive line, Allen's playing at 80%. You got to protect that leg. That line, I got a feeling, will step up. And they will tell Dable, let's run the ball a little bit. Run behind us. Perfect, guys. Love it.
All right, pick 'em wise. We got Patriots at Indianapolis, and we got Jets at Miami.
What's the garbage one? You want to wait for that?
Well, I got two garbage ones, I think. Well, I'm gonna do a garbage and a real one because
Okay.
the garbage one's Texans at Jags, 100%. But the one that I think there's a couple, there's 3 games outside of the Patriots game that are very, very telling for the AFC. You have Thursday, you have Chiefs and Chargers.
The Thursday, Saturday games are key.
Those are big.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Raiders, Browns. Sunday's Titans, Steelers. And I know that the Steelers aren't. They're still on the cusp there.
Mm-hmm.
So, the thing is, do you want the Titans to suffer a loss, or do you want the Steelers to stay in it a little bit?
Right.
Because where we're at right now, we gotta win. We gotta win this week, next week.
Ravens
Why
are in
not?
rough shape too. They lost Lamar probably for a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, that North. So
Yeah.
I don't know who you root for.
Well, I mean, Ravens are playing the Packers, so whatever. That, as far as I'm concerned, the whole North can fight for themselves and do whatever.
they will.
You know.
That's where they say the
I
Bills
just checked,
have an
I just
advantage
checked two
because
sites. I just checked 2 sites, and none of the sites say Feliciano took an offensive snap. I could have sworn he was out there.
He was.
he was
dressed.
special teams. He
definitely
played on
dressed.
some special teams. Swank, Scott,
Yeah.
that's with all the scenarios that we put out there, who to root for. The next couple of weeks, Sal Capaccio said that the North and the West AFC are going to be battling each other for the next 4 weeks. So that's what's going to make it. That's why the Bills' chances for the playoffs are still high, because those teams are going to start knocking each other off. So I think that Kansas City, San Diego game is going to be important. You want to go with that one? Thursday?
That's
I was really You know what, man? Forget the Texans and the Jaguars. Who cares, man? Let's do the Chiefs, Chargers. Let's do Raiders, Browns.
Okay, let's
Right?
do it. Let's make it good.
We can even do
we're
Titans, Steelers too. I don't care. But that one doesn't seem as hot on your guys' radar. There's Bengals, Broncos too.
those are
They're
all
all good.
Hey guys, and like
You wanna pick
Jared
the whole
said
AFC?
earlier,
Let's pick the whole AFC.
like Jared said earlier, some people don't like it. I think majority of people do. Check out our post later this week to tell you who to root for. Not tell you, but suggest who to root for Buffalo Bills' best chances at playoffs. Obviously, unless we take the AFC East, we will have spot 5, 6, or 7. If we take the AFC East, potentially we can move all the way up to the first spot. But for this week, to keep a playoff spot, we're going to go that scenario. So keep an eye out, and it works out perfect because we're going to have a Thursday, Saturday games. It's all going to be awesome to watch all week.
All right, I have my list set up right here. Indianapolis playing the New England Patriots. Swank, who do you got in that one?
I'm going Indy.
Scott.
Was it Ryan that mentioned it on Sunday sessions there, Swank? We're about to see the fall of Mac Jones, or was it you?
He said it.
I think we're about to see
I
the fall.
concurred like a mahucka.
Yep, I think we're about to see it. I think they're going to come back from a bye week. They're going to lose to the Colts.
All
They're
right,
going
the
to struggle,
Colts as well.
and we're going to hand it to them.
So what happens if they lose to the Colts and we win this week? It's going to be another matchup for the AFC East. If we win, Patriots lose, we win the next week against New England, we'll have the same record, but we'll have the better division record, which will put us at
Number one.
number 1. Bills Mafia, man, we're never out of it. You got to be confident. Jets, Miami. I'm going to go with Miami. I think they continue the roll. Scott.
It's a tough one. I got to start catching up with you guys. I'm going Jets.
Swing.
I gotta go Miami.
AFC East is turning out to be quite the tough division, as it always is. All right, John says Indy. Do you have any other ones? Joey Hatch, Indy.
Debbie says out of spite, Colts.
Spike Colts. Come on, Frank Reich.
Brent Thomason, come on, Frank Wright.
John
John's
got
Jets.
Jets.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jinx.
All right,
jinx,
Raiders, Browns.
I know we like to talk about 1 week at a time, but when these playoff weeks, when these games start coming up, they get more and more
I know.
nerve-wracking.
I know.
And it's fun to watch.
I'll tell you what. Tune in next week because after we mop the floor with the Panthers, I'm gonna be talking all sorts of shit about how we're gonna serve Mac Jones up on a platter. If they barely beat us in a windy game, wait until Josh Allen can throw. Please,
Yep.
please wait.
And we'll have a special guest, Brian Van Slyke from Breaking Tables, along with us next
Right,
Tuesday.
got our boy Brian coming.
Absolutely. If you haven't seen Breaking Tables, he's got one heck of a show over there with Tampa. What's Tampa
Neal.
He has some good guests on there. I like when he has the opposing team guests on there. He doesn't hold anything back. He gets after it. But yes, Brian Vince will be joining us next week for the Kagan Report Season 2, Episode 42. That'll be a fun one. Raiders Browns. Swank, I bet you I know who you're picking here.
You're betting right, man. Ah, God. But I got to because I hate them. So, Raiders. Absolutely.
Raiders. John says Raiders too. Joey Hatch, Raiders.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Scott.
going Raiders.
Do it. Do it. You going to do it?
Where are they playing?
Yeah, I hate the Browns
playing in
too.
Cleveland.
Swank. I don't know. Watching what's his name celebrate after a 2-yard touchdown pass. He's so cocky. Just want to Mayfield there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I want the Raiders to win, but I got a feeling the Browns are just going to keep sneaking stuff through. So I'm thinking the Browns are going to win.
Well, the Browns are sneaking stuff through. Your boxers.
I think the Browns actually have their rosters on the COVID reserve right now. So I think.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I don't like Odell Beckham either, but I was so happy to see him light that up
against the Arizona.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, "Yep, there you go."
Right, because he had
Baker.
Right, yeah, because what they say, quickest to 3 touchdowns. It took Odell Beckham 15 games to get 3 touchdowns with the Browns, and it took him 3 games, 2 or 3 games for the yeah. All right, KC, San Diego. I'll lead the way with this one.
Do it.
Kansas City.
Upset. Chargers.
I don't know if that's an upset. You think it is?
Considering.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I just say upset because, the reigning AFC champions, it's old Super Bowl. I think a young quarterback in Herbert. I think
they almost beat
time.
him last year.
Yeah. So I'm also pushing for the upset because if the Bills do what they have to do, one of the things that are going to keep them from getting spot number 1 would be a tiebreaker against the Chiefs. So
but we beat the Chiefs.
I'd like to have the same record as the Chiefs. That way we get the tiebreaker.
Yeah, we would get it. Right. Gotcha.
Sweet.
John says Chargers in a close one. What's Swank going with?
I'm going with Chargers, man. Give me them bolts up.
Bolts up.
That's the second part noise we've made in the last 3 minutes.
Who else did one?
I did one earlier. Remember where the Browns sneak one through?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Lady Bills is here. Hi, Lady Bills. Welcome to the party. She's a part of that Shout for a Cause Inc. They're doing wonderful things up there. So if you haven't checked that Facebook page out yet, go there and check out Shout for a Cause Inc. And they're also on Twitter. Lady, oh my gosh, Bills Mafia Babes. They do a lot of stuff too. They do great things.
I listened back to that one show where we were talking a lot about Bills Mafia Babes.
And how many times did I screw that up?
How many times we all were like, Bills Mafia, blah, 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 blah.
So that Shout for a Cause Inc. is Lady Bills, Buffalo Spartan. They have all the super fans in there. So if you haven't checked them out yet, you have to because they're one heck of a group. Yeah. One heck of a group. All right, guys. It's that time.
We're doing the whole AFC. We're not.
Okay, we're gonna do.
We gotta do Bengals Broncos. I want to do that one too.
Bengals Broncos. Okay, Bengals.
Yeah, Scott.
Broncos,
yes, please.
All right, I'll lead the way.
Like,
Bengals.
I could go to the top in 1 8-game pick'em.
Yeah, right. I could catch up here. I like what Javonte Williams is doing at running back over there. Teddy Bridgewater's holding his own. I got the Broncos.
Ooh, I'm going Bengals. That could be one for you.
Yeah, right there, Scott. You can gain one on us.
Dude, I've always liked Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right. Quick reminders before we do our closing thoughts. We will be having Brian Van Slyke on our show next week for the Kagan Report, Season 240, Episode 41. We'll be talking about the Buffalo Bills win. Also, check out, again, Lady Bills is on. Let's check out their Shout for a Cause Inc. They got a lot of things going on. Happy birthday. Shout out to Ryan Hickman from Buffalo Autographs, our sponsor, our best sponsor. He's got a lot of good things going on right now.
And speaking of Ryan Hickman and Buffalo Autographs, there may be something coming our way for a giveaway show. I don't know, maybe. But real quick, Buffalo Autographs is doing probably their last Raz of the year after our show. So check out their Facebook page. They got a Shane Conlon jersey, Steve Tasker jersey, all that cool stuff. Go over there, hook them up. Check out www.buffaloautographs.com if you just want to straight up buy some stuff for Christmas. But after our show, go right over there. They're going to hook you up with some jerseys for pretty cheap.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Scott, give us your final thoughts for the night.
Final thoughts for the night. This is a big playoff week. It's only week 15, but it's a playoff week. Like we said earlier, Thursday is a playoff game. Saturday is a couple playoff games. And then our Bills, obviously, we tell you this time and time again, yes, our Buffalo Bills have to handle their own, but it's fun to know what kind of situations can put us into the playoffs. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Playoffs are a total different game. There's been 5 wild card teams that have made the Super Bowl and won them. So just because you're a wild card team holding the last spot does not mean you're out of contention for the Super Bowl. It's a completely different game, guys, and we do what we can to make it there. So one game at a time. Let's take care of the Panthers. Stay humble. We got a 1:00 football game. Don't forget to come check out 24/7's pregame show, Sunday Sessions with Scott and Swank and Ryan Thomas. You don't want to miss it, guys. Also, quick, 24/7 has 2 subgroups now. I created them yesterday. We have a subgroup for this show, the K-Gun Report. You'll see all the invites out there. And I also have a subgroup of the Sunday Sessions, just to get people out there and aware of our podcasts, our live streams that we do. Also hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Scott247BF. You'll see our tags below on the screen here. Bada bing. Guys, we're 7th seed now. We're in the playoffs now. We just got to keep winning. Go Bills.
Swank.
Wow, man, you just got me all goosebumpy. You guys, man, we were hitting up over 20 again tonight. We've had some uptick in our viewership. It's been awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for spreading the word. Thank you for being great people, and we love you very much for all the support and all that you do to make 24/7 BF the best that it can be. I should make a commercial that says
simply the best, the
best
you can be.
So that being said, man, I think we're gonna go in, right the ship, get things going this weekend. It'll be a good time. Like Scott said, come hang out with us at Sunday Sessions at 11:30, and as always, you can join us on the K-Gun Report every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, we're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. If you guys haven't yet, can you go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel as a favor to us? Because there's some wonky shit going on over there right now. Like, I don't know what's happening on YouTube. But, yeah, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. We're going to be trying to put out some more stuff. We're thinking about doing a big old highlight end of the year kind of show. I've been floating that for these guys, and we had some really cool stuff happen this year, so I think it would be fun. And yeah, so if you can get over to YouTube, subscribe a little bit, come hang out with us. You got Anchor, you got Spotify, you got Apple Podcasts, you got it all. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Joey Hatch just said Displaced Bills Mafia just hit over 1,200 subscribers. Good job, Joey Hatch.
Nice.
Keep that page going. I got a lot to say. I hope you guys got a minute. No, I'm just kidding. Final thoughts for me. I'm all about energy, positive vibes. If we didn't learn anything in the first 12 games of the season, I hope we learned something after this past week. Don't give up on your Buffalo Bills if they're down 24-3 at halftime of the Bills game. Look what they did. Don't go out there and start parading about how the Bills suck, that they need a new quarterback and the coaching sucks. You're just going to get people riled up, and you're putting that negative shit out there. Keep it to yourself. The Bills don't need anything but positive vibes. They're a team that we're rooting for. They're 7-6. They're ranked 7th seed in the playoffs. Be positive. Support your fan base. Please. The Bills players, the Bills energy depends on that. Another thing. No, just kidding. Thank you, everybody, for participating tonight. We loved it. We love seeing the names popping up there. during the conversation. This is, we say it all the time, it's family, and this definitely is awesome to see the same names popping here and there. Have a great week. Look for some posts that we're putting out there. Look for the who you're rooting for. Cheer loud for the Buffalo Bills at Sunday at 1 o'clock to 4. And we'll see everybody next Tuesday with Brian Van Slyke from Breaking Tables. Go Bills.
Go Bills!
Go Bills! Jarrod's a hippie.
This is a dangerous group.